Marhaba, good morning. I'm Abu Laith. Today we're going to be looking at two different parks in southern Kentucky. The first, Pine Mountain State Park, that claims to be the first official park, state park, government park in the state of Kentucky. And then the second one we'll look at is Cumberland Gap National Park. That's very important in American history and in America becoming what it is today. More on that in a bit. But first, let's start by looking at one of the trails at Pine Mountain State Park. So again, like we did all these trails as a family. I did it with a 2-year-old. Most of these trails we did with a stroller, so they're all fairly easy to do.
So today we are in a new part of Kentucky exploring the Pine Mountain State Park in southern Kentucky, almost on the Tennessee border. So this is one of the trails, this Clear Creek Hollow Trail. So again, we love the free. This is free 0.4 miles right alongside the river. This cool little old wooden bridge to walk over. It's a really easy trail, flat, gravel. So it would be perfect for pretty much anybody who can walk the 0.4 miles there and back. And beautiful, lots of trees.
The second park we'll look at today is the Cumberland Gap National Park. So it sits at a pretty cool place on a triple point, a meeting of 3 different states, Kentucky, Virginia, and Tennessee. So it was made most famous by legendary American colonist Daniel Boone, who was instrumental in making it famous in bringing dozens of families through this path into the interior. So an important historical fact, the British government in the Proclamation of 1763 had made travel beyond and settling beyond the Appalachian Mountains, this long mountain range that goes along the eastern seaboard states, illegal for colonists. But ultimately, Daniel Boone and the efforts of many others is what made America America, and getting people into the heartland. Once you're in the park, the best place to start is to take the winding 4-mile road up to Pinnacle Overlook. Great views of the city, of the area, and it also helps you understand why this was so important. The Appalachian Mountains are tall, they're twisted, and it's hard to get across. So you can see how important it was to have an easy way, a gap, a low point to be able to cross over, especially if you're traveling with your family, you've got small kids and wagons, animals. You need something easy. And this was it. And there's no place like it for hundreds of miles around. So that's why this was so important to the settling of America.
So the first time we came up here, you couldn't see a thing, couldn't see more than 10 feet in front of you. 2 hours later, it is amazing all that you can see. So this right in front of us would be the actual gap, tunnel through the mountain and out the other side. This is the land. This is what made America possible. Beautiful up here. So we are right now here at another spot showing just how important this small piece of land was throughout American history. So during the Civil War, this is also kind of hotly disputed, contested area. There were forts from the Northern Army, the Union Army, as well as the Southern Army in this general location. So this is a cannon actually from the Civil War. And those mounds are actually some of the man-made entrenchments made here. So it started as a Confederate fort, changed hands a few times before a Union fort, Fort McCook, was built on the same site. So this is the easiest way through this area. Also, the only railroad that connected the Eastern Theater, Virginia area, North Carolina, to the West, Tennessee, and the Deep South, came through this area. So controlling this mountain was very strategic. Also, there's some manufacturing, some salt mines, different vital resources needed in the general area. So both sides, as soon as war was declared, tried to figure out how to control this land. So I'm standing right now on the Wilderness Trail. So this would have been the path that Daniel Boone and countless hundreds, thousands of settlers used on their way through the Cumberland Gap, through the Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee area, up into Kentucky, and spreading out throughout the West. So I will say it again in this video, but this path in some ways changes the course of American history, that without what happens here, there really is no America. Because shortly after English colonization in North America, in America starts, the British make a proclamation in order not to ruffle feathers with the French. All English colonists are required to stay east of the Appalachian Mountains. But colonists, and this became kind of integral to the American character, culture, don't like being told what to do, especially when they're being told something they cannot do. So they pour west, and it's because of all of those settlers moving in, their increased contact with Native Americans. So from their perspective, maybe for the worst, the discovery of this road that was actually an old ancient Native American path through these woods and through this area. So as more settlers pour in, so without this path, without the people streaming forth, America never be what it is today. So for better or for worse, this is pretty essential to American history.
Hope you enjoyed our little tour of these two parks today and that you'll check them out in the future. Stay tuned next time while we look at San Francisco. Goodbye. Masalama.